Okay, today's lesson is looking at comparing fractions. So comparing fractions, we've got a question here, which one's larger, 3/4 or 1/4? Now, easy enough, first thing to look at is the numerator. Sorry, first thing to look at is the denominator. In this case, they're both the same. So we've got 4 and 4. So then we can just look at the numerator. So the numerator is 3 and the numerator is 1 in the other one. So the bigger numerator is the answer. And if we think about how that works, if I have two objects divided into quarters, so I know my drawings aren't great, but just imagine they're the same size. If these are all quarters, we have 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. The first one has 3 shaded in. The other one only has 1. So that's 1 shaded in there. It's quite obvious to see that 3/4 is the one that is the largest. However, they're not always as simple as that. You can see in this question, what we've got is 1/3 and 1/5. So again, if I take my two wholes, in this case here, I've got one object divided into 3, so that's a third. 1/3, third. This one's divided into a fifth, so 1/5, 1/5. So you can see quite clearly that a third is bigger than a fifth, which sort of goes against what you think because the 5 is bigger than the 3. Because it's the denominator, it means it's divided up into more parts. So that bit can be quite confusing. So especially when you get into things like 5/7 or 7/9, is that knowing these numbers becomes much more difficult. So the easiest way around it is you must convert your fractions to decimals, because the decimals are much easier to compare. You can just go higher and lower numbers. Now we've covered talking about converting fractions to decimals on the calculator already. With these videos, I suggest you go back and look at that if you're not sure, still not sure on how to do that, or to remind you. I'll also play those videos at the end of this video as well. So hold on for that. So going back to the question, looking at 5/7 and 7/9, is what we can do is we can go 5 divided by 7, which gives us 0.7143. So if you want to, you can try that on your calculator now. Make sure you get that. So just 5 divided by 7. And likewise with 7/9, you could just go 7 divided by 9, which gives you 0.778. So then what happens, that makes the answer really obvious, is that that's higher than 0.7143, meaning that 7/9 is higher than 5/7. And that's it. Change the fractions into decimals, go with the biggest one. In the worksheet you've got as well, from the worksheet that you've got, there's also some questions. So let's take a look at this. For Bob's speech assessment, he got 7 out of 12 for his delivery. So always write out the information. So 7 out of 12. And 5 out of 8 for content. In which part did he do better? So again, get our calculator out. We go 7 divided by 12, which is which is equal to 0.5833. 5/8, 5 divided by 8, which is 0.625, which means he did better in his content, as 0.625 is bigger than 0.5833. Right. Nikau is buying bananas. One brand is 4 for $2.40, and the other brand is 6 for $3. So this is an example of a rate rather than a fraction. So I'm going to change it so that we're not thinking about dollars and cents, that we just think in straight cents. So 240 cents for 4, and it's 300 cents for 6. So we've got 240 divided by 4, which in this case is 60 cents, or 60 over 1. And the other one is 300 divided by 6, which is equal to 50 cents. So it's quite obvious to see that the other brand, the 6 for $3, is the cheaper option. The third question is car parking, building and selling spaces. One deal is $200 for 40 days. The other one is $163.20 for 32 days. Which is the cheapest car per day? So we've got 200 divided by 40, which gives us $5 a day, and 163.20 divided by 32. Do that on your calculator, you end up with $5.10. So even though it is the larger amount overall per day, it's actually the cheapest to go with the first deal, the $200 for 40 days. Okay, so if you're comfortable with all that, you can make a start with the worksheet. If you'd like to go back over the video of how to use a calculator to convert fractions, stay on the video. So here it is, converting decimals and fractions. First thing is decimal, double box, 4 numerator down, 7 denominator, press equals. Where it stays as a fraction, now to convert that to a decimal, all we have to do is press the SD button. First thing is our fraction to decimal. We use the double box, 4 for the numerator, down, 7 for the denominator, press equals, and it stays as a fraction. Now to convert that to a decimal, all we have to do is press the SD button, which is the SD. And you can see there's a fraction, taking a
and
look
we can
at
round
using
it to
the
whatever
emulator
decimal
again.
places we want. For the second one, we put in the decimals, which is 0.125, press equals. You can see it's still a decimal, so change it to a fraction. We can make it 1/8 by pressing SD again.
The next step is put your fraction in, so in this case it's 4, ABC, 7, press equals, and it stays as a fraction. Now to convert it to a... okay, this is converting decimal between decimals and fractions. First thing to do is go to run, so either press 1 or select it off the menu. The next step is to put your fraction in, so in this case it's 4,
ABC 7, press equals, and it stays as a fraction. Now to convert it to a decimal, all you have to do is press F to D, which means fraction to decimal.
Okay,
And there
so
you go, there is your fraction.
now go to
For
the
the
lesson
second
page
example, we're
and
putting in
complete
a
the task
decimal.
that's been put there.
0.
If you need to see those videos about the calculator, you can always rewind this,
execute
or
again,
you can
and
take a look
you
at
end
the
up
one
with decimal. So to
on
convert
the
it to a
page
fraction,
as
press
well.
FD, and it's